Okay, guys, welcome back to your Grimerica Outlawed Roundup. Last one of 2025, if you can believe it. December 29th, 2025, with Identifiable Group and Collective Socio-democratic Agenda.
You're never gonna believe what that one's about.
Never gonna believe it.
No, you're not. I mean, you're not gonna believe. You could never guess. You could never ever guess. I'm telling
It's
you.
about collective socio-democratic agenda. So
Yeah.
it's about them trying to turn us
No,
into
no.
somehow.
No,
No?
no.
And so can you guess what mine is about?
Yeah, I mean, it could be about all this hate against white folk these days, maybe, or because we're not an identifiable group. I mean, is it something like that?
Well, it's yeah, well, let's just jump into it.
Because what a
Yeah.
time. I mean, this has just been a fantastic week. Again, I'm just blown away at all the stuff that's happening, all the disclosure that's happening all over the place.
I'm too busy working to pay attention really. But I mean you have to pay attention a little bit because that's part of the work. But I don't have time for like the disclosure stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
I
no,
just
disclosure. I shouldn't have said disclosure. I don't mean UFO disclosure. I mean like revealing, like the
the great
fraud.
reveal.
People are coming up like the governments are putting their foot in their mouth. They're like doubling down on these crazy things. They're failing left, right, and center from a cultural perspective, and then the fraud is getting exposed everywhere. I mean, it really is unbelievable right now.
Unbelievable. So yeah. Anyway, last show of the year. Sign up for Plus if you haven't already. We do need some more signups over there, GrimericaOutlawed.ca. And if you're watching live, shoot a super chat. Let us know you love us. We need more support to keep the show going. I mean, so this one here, I'm just going right to the Canadian website, the Government of Canada website here.
About hate speech.
Yeah, I wanted to go through some of this with you and just see what you thought about this because
I'm gonna get really angry at
there's
that.
some oddities in here for a country that's as far away from Israel as it is. There's just some strange things. So anyway, let's go through it. This
So
is
hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Is this is a code? So this is the
this is
criminal
the
code we're
Criminal
looking at?
Code of Canada, RSC
So it's not a
19.
new bill or something like that. This is in the laws already. Like this is part of the code.
This
The
is
official
this
code.
is law. This is official law. So public incitement of hatred 319.1. Everyone who by communicating statements in any public place incites hatred against an identifiable group,
Any identifiable.
any identifiable group, or such incitement is likely to lead to a breach of the peace, is guilty of an indictable offense and is liable to imprisonment of a term not exceeding 2 years or an offense punishable on summary conviction. Willful promotion of hatred. Everyone who, by communicating statements other than in private conversation, so in private conversation, you can say whatever the fuck you want, which is, I don't know. You know what I never checked is on those English cases if those were like were those into groups? Is it because it's in a group? So if my private conversation with someone directly, is that still
Like private
protected
in
under
a
free
chat or
speech?
private in person? Like private recorded
Either,
digitally
either,
or
either digitally, Facebook Messenger, person to person. There's no third party in it. Is there still free speech in that? I guess not if you're calling someone a hate thing.
I don't think so.
Willfully promotes hatred against any identifiable group is guilty of an indictable offense, blah, 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 same thing. But so identifiable group should pretty much clear it up, right? That should pretty
No,
much.
this is the whole problem. This is the fundamental issue with the whole thing.
I thought you would say that. So if we've got that, I feel like that takes care of it. Why do we need to add in willful promotion of anti-Semitism?
It should be equitable. It should be equitable,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Why do they get their own line?
Oh, wow.
Everyone who, by communicating statements other than in private conversation, willfully promotes anti Semitism by condoning, denying, or downplaying the Holocaust, A, is guilty of an indictable offense.
Downplaying it even? So it's more than denying?
Just downplaying or condoning.
That's a pretty vague term, downplaying.
That's vague. Is liable for imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. Defenses. No person shall be convicted of an offense under subsection 2A if he establishes the statements communicated were true. So there's a big loophole. Here's my evidence, sir. 109
What?
country. B, if in good faith the person expressed or attempted to establish by an argument an opinion on a religious subject or an opinion based on a belief in a religious text. C, if the statements were relevant to any subject of public interest, the discussion of which was for public benefit, and if on reasonable grounds he believed them to be true. Or if in good faith he intended to point out for the purpose of removal matters producing or tending to produce feelings of hatred toward an identifiable group in Canada. Defense is subsection 2.1. Don't show should be convicted under blah, blah, blah. So it's basically, oh, here, these are some extra ones here. If we go down, there's C is the same, but D is a new one. They've added D to this one, which is if in good faith they intended to point out for the purpose of removal matters producing or tending to produce feelings of anti-Semitism towards Jews. Forfeiture for person.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm confused already. So that D, if you scroll up, it says like you're not. It's
Yes,
not
so basically A, B, C are the same.
No person shall be convicted. No person shall be convicted of an offense under subsection if in good faith they intended to point out for the purpose of removal.
Yeah, so basically if you're like, hey,
oh my God. So if you're saying like, hey, this guy is saying this, then I can't get in trouble for that?
Or if you can prove it was true. Or it seems like, if it seems down here, I mean, this is a big loophole, isn't it? If the statements were relevant to any subject of public interest, right? Which most of them are. The discussion of which was for the public benefit, which is the only reason we're here.
And if I, who said it, believe it to be true.
Yeah.
That just seems crazy.
That does seem crazy.
Why would you have all these in there if you have, why would you have the law if you have all these outages?
They got to get that. They got to get that out of there. That's a huge problem for them.
And they probably, I bet you they're trying to under all these bills that they're trying to pass.
I would bet. If a person is convicted of an offense under subsection 1, 2, or 2.1 or section 318, anything by means of or in relation to which the offense was committed on such conviction may, in addition to any other punishment imposed, be ordered by the presiding provincial court judge or judge to be forfeited to her majesty in the right of the province in which that person is convicted. So the province has to send you over to them.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think.
Well, I mean, we need to know. There. What? Holy, identifiable group.
Definitions. Communicating includes communicating by telephone, broadcasting, and other audible or visible means. Holocaust means the planned and deliberate state-sponsored persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by the Nazis and their collaborators from 1933 to 1945. Don't say anything.
That's a pretty big.
Don't say anything.
Pretty big time frame.
Identifiable group has the same meaning as in section 318.
Okay, we need to find that.
Okay. Public place includes any place to which the public have access as of right or by invitation expressed or implied. And statements includes words spoken or written or recorded electronically or electromagnetically or otherwise. And gestures, signs, or other visible representation. So we got to get to 318, was it?
Yeah. 318. I mean, just because that's pretty key.
Subsection 318. It says section 318. Ooh. What happens if we click here? Okay. 318, hate propaganda. Okay, 318, 316.
It's like Jordan Peterson was right way back when he was.
And there's probably a bunch of good stuff on here. I should have the AI read this. Okay, hate propaganda. Every person who advocates or promotes genocide is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment of a term of not.
No, hang on. This can't be it though. We're talking about identifiable group.
It's gonna get to that down in the definition.
Okay.
Right. Do you want to go through any of this? In this group, genocide means any of the following acts with intent to destroy in whole or in part any identifiable group, namely killing members of the group, or deliberately inflicting group conditions on the group conditions of life, blah, blah, blah.
Hang on. This is an important part.
Here it is.
So wait. There's talking about, here's the second definition of genocide for this section, right? Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction. So you're bringing on conditions to bring about its physical destruction.
That's right. So definition of an identifiable group. In this section, identifiable group means.
Let me guess. It says anything but white men.
Well, here it says identifiable group means any section of the public distinguished by color, race, religion, national or ethnic origin, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or mental or physical disability.
Is short being a physical disability?
I don't think they would call you disabled. Do you feel disabled?
Sometimes.
When you can't reach something?
Yeah, I can't reach something.
I think you're taller than my wife, so you're probably not.
So hang on. So, but there's a problem with that, isn't there? Because or maybe they change it and it's open now. Like, so I guess my point is they've left it so that some groups can't fall into that category, right? Like,
it doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
It's just not going to get. You need a judge that's going to be okay with it.
We need to find out, like, because if you're allowed to distinguish people by color, you should be allowed to distinguish them by whiteness as well. Because can I build on that a little bit?
What are you going to build?
Well, I was going to share this in the second half, but because it's kind of got to do with that, I'm going to share it in this first half, because this is what I'm talking about, right?
Hello all, hope you're doing well today. So I covered this story of this Egyptian activist a while ago who'd been...
Have you heard about this?
No.
Welcomed back with open arms by the media establishment and government.
So this guy, this activist that's been in jail in Egypt, for some reason, all the celebrities, like big time celebrities and government officials, are all just reading this guy's poetry online. They're just like all cooing for him to get out of jail. He became a citizen of the UK, actually similar to me, not by living in the UK, but by his mom being born there. I think his mom was a citizen. I'm not sure if she was born there a citizen. So they're acting like he's coming home, but I don't think he's ever lived there. So there's this huge like fanfare of this guy, and wait till you see what this guy used to talk about.
However, it turns out he wasn't just saying nasty things about Jews, but also white people as well. Funny, when the story broke, they didn't seem to mention that, but due to a big storm on social media, especially Twitter, or X as it's known now, we see this guy has quite serious issues with white people. Quote, "I seriously hate white people, especially those..."
He's pretty white.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is he identifiably white or no?
Can you identify however you want?
Well, this is what's weird about an identifiable group, right? Today I'm fluid. Can you identify? Does that mean I'm not identifiable?
I get to identify you in this scenario.
So, I mean, imagine if you said this about any other group. This is my point, right? This is why this guy's allowed to say this, because we're not identifiable. I seriously hate white people, especially those of English or Dutch or German descent. And you talk to most of them and they come out telling you that they're the ones who are oppressed and victims. So,
of English, Dutch or German descent. So who better to welcome into our country with open arms? Now, these sorts of comments don't just end there. They go on and on and on.
Oh, at least he apologized for it says.
Here we go. Frankly, not unleashing a campaign of mass punitive violence against white people was South Africa's biggest mistake. He continues, Jay Mayton once again proves humanity will not be redeemed until we commit genocide against all white people. Seems a nice chap, doesn't he? Exactly the sort of person you want living next door to you. Yes, of course, your son's
So, I mean, can you see what's happening here? Right? Are like the title of Richard the Fourth, who I recommend you see his YouTube channel. I want to get him on the show. Richard the Fourth. The regime hates you. The regime is supporting this. And yet we've got these laws that don't cover this. This is why this is happening now. Because of the one-sided laws and the two-tiered justice system that's happening, like you're seeing in Canada's criminal code. Because I think we're missing something in that identifiable group. I'm pretty, unless it's all in the bills that haven't changed the code yet or something, but I'm pretty sure when we went over this hate speech stuff before, they had kind of like drawn out that description to mean all these things except for like, you know, normal people, basically.
Well, like I
Sort
said, I
of
mean,
a
it's going to be the judge at the end of the day that fucks you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what's happening in the UK, I guess, is because they seem to be about 5 years ahead of us in this front.
racist. Now, I know this can be disturbing to read, and it's upsetting that our government and powers that be welcome people like this into our country, even celebrate it. However, in the long term, this is actually excellent for us,
I agree with him. This is an amazing week for this kind of stuff.
think. And that's basically because the government, the system, the liberal regime is being caught red-handed once more. I mean, firstly, we have the issue that the mainstream media only deems his comments a problem when they're about Jews. White people aren't worthy of moral consideration. Secondly, it completely proves the point that despite all the moral grandstanding we get against immigration and how it's absolutely wonderful and we're pure evil for saying it's dangerous, this guy's been saying things like, don't worry, we were only discussing how we'll take over your town and rape your women. It's been made all the more sweet by the fact a bunch of annoying celebrities made a video reading a poem of his or something, again trying to make out he's a sweet, innocent little bunny and we're sick and evil for wanting people like this out of the country.
All right, that's good enough, I think. It just shows you another massive failure, which is great because it, like he says, it's good news.
Well, we might as well follow that up with this. In case you missed it, the Smithsonian Museum put out a list of bad white people traits. Those included hard work, objectivity, politeness, and having both a dad and a mom. So here's the first page. Aspects and assumptions of whiteness, white culture in the United States. White dominant culture, whiteness, refers to ways that white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practice in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. Rugged individualism, family structure, nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children. Oh, and the rugged individual, it says individuals assume to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. Emphasis on the scientific method, objective, rational, linear thinking, cause and effect relationships, quantitative emphasis. History based on North European immigrants' experience in the United States. Protestant work ethic. Hard work is the key to success. Work before play. If you don't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. What do you think so far?
I like it.
Now, the thing is, it could be...
I don't know how you're fitting into this category of rugged individualism and hard work.
Status,
You're
power,
Indian, so.
power. Your job is who you are. Respect authority. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, and property. Plan for the future. Delay gratification. Tomorrow will be better.
What does it say on time? What does it say about time?
Follow rigid time schedules. Time is viewed as a commodity. Aesthetics. Man's attractiveness based on economic status. Women's beauty based on blonde and thin. Holidays based on Christian beliefs, based on white history and male leaders. Justice based on common law. Competition, be number one, win at all costs. Well, there you have it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. How many of those traits do you have? Grab me, you white bastard.
I got a few, yeah. And then meanwhile, but they get all the money for this stuff, right? First reading, the mammoth quantity of activism fueled by taxpayer money So they're talking about how all these NGOs and stuff getting so much money. Gender identity, climate change, anti-Israel causes, all generously subsidized by who? Federal money, by us. So of course we can't. I'm not subscribed to this thing. I'm not paying for this. So, but some comments on the bottom of National Post. So it lets me get to the comments. Our taxes support the political science of mental illness. Our taxes support the discredited CO2 plus EGHG theory and decarbonization, right? Our taxes support liberal agendas designed to buy votes. So many have no clue how huge charities are in Canada. Governments finance almost 70% of all charitable donations in Canada. There's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I'm just going to skip back over to the post on X because most funding by government in Canada is fraud. VPD found that only 12% of the nonprofits on the downtown east side provided a service to the public. 12%. 88% of the recipients of 1.4 billion, so that would be $1,400 million a year, provide no service. The workers are NDP and liberal insiders. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we still have institutional control somehow.
Somewhere. All right. Well, I thought I had another Canada thing here.
Okay, let me continue then, because this I want your opinion on this, because this is Canada and this is Trudeau. Now, I almost don't want. Well, I'm going to play this in French just to get to hear 40 seconds of him speaking French. He's pretty good. This is back in 2010, so this is 4 years before he was elected, or was it 2015, 2014, beginning in 2015? So 4 or 5 years before he was elected. I mean, listen to this, and I'm going to read it what he says afterwards, but I just want you to hear him say it in French.
Regardez, le Canada fait dur maintenant parce que
don't listen. Don't read the screen, Darren, because I want to read it to you afterwards, because it's gonna blow you away.
c'est des Albertains qui contrôlent notre agenda communautaire et socio-démocratique. Ça marche pas.
Est-ce que le Canada est mieux servi quand il y a plus de Québécois au pouvoir que quand il y a plus d'Albertains au pouvoir?
Sounds pretty good, though.
Ben, je suis libéral, alors c'est sûr que je pense que oui. Certainement, quand on regarde les grands premiers ministres du 20e siècle, les seuls qui ont vraiment tenu le coup, c'était des députés du Québec. C'était Trudeau, c'était Mulroney, c'était Chrétien, c'était Paul Martin. Alors, on a un rôle, ce pays, le Canada, est à nous.
C'est un Canadien? I mean, I haven't spoken French in many, many years, but he sounds like he's pretty good at it. Before his aspirations to become PM, his views are deep-rooted and shared by many in the Laurentian elite. Now, I've thought I've seen this video before, but it struck me completely differently this time. So this is what Trudeau says. Okay, I want your opinion. This is where you are not going to believe this. Look, so 2010. Look, Canada is in the dump right now, because it's Albertans who control our community and socio-democratic agenda. Democracy isn't working. Did you know, Darren, that in Alberta, you moved to Alberta. You were in Alberta back then. Did you know you guys controlled the community and socio-democratic agenda in Canada?
Kind of felt like it back then compared to now.
Okay, that's a good point. The interviewer says, is Canada better served when there are more Quebecers in power than when there are more Albertans in power? Trudeau, well, I'm a liberal, so I definitely think so. Certainly, when you look at the great prime ministers of the 20th century, the only ones who really held their own were Quebec MPs. It was Trudeau, it was Mulroney, c'était Chrétien, c'était Paul Martin. So we have a role. We have this country. Canada belongs to us.
Making it happen.
John Fraser says, I remember that interview and knew just how profoundly stupid, but also how dangerous he was. FY, Paul Martin was from Windsor, Ontario. It's crazy, eh? I mean, what?
Paul Montaigne.
So that's like, this is how long the battle goes. I mean, when these Easterners, all these ex-paid shills and all these people like pushing the mainstream agenda in Canada, when they talk about, oh, you know, Alberta, this and that, they're just so upset that Alberta wants to secede. This is why it goes back so far. This hate toward the West.
Looks like the U.S. wants to support us. I think they said they'd give us $500 billion to get started.
I think I have a clip of that. I have a clip of it.
You got a clip?
Yeah, I think so.
Now you guys officially want to get the fuck out too, eh? Oh man, the Indians are gonna be.
Oh yeah, Saskatchewan's right with you.
Of all things, but we actually met in a skiff of all things, but that was interesting. But the people that we're meeting with go directly from our meetings to the Oval Office, so that's the level that we're meeting at.
They met in skiff, and then the first thing he does is
all of the ways in which the United States.
What's
they
that?
meet with him in a skiff, and then the first thing he does is go on the internet.
Government could support Alberta independence when the timing was right. They are very enthusiastic about Alberta becoming an independent country. I mean, the one thing that we all fervently believe and have in common is that the government in Ottawa and the landlocking of Alberta's resources is being done by Ottawa at the behest of the communist Chinese. And the Americans, you know, see it within their national interest, both under the Monroe Doctrine that's been around forever and their new national security strategy to support Alberta independence and freeing the third largest oil field in the world from control by the communist Chinese. I mean, one of the things that we were talking about is that the reason that the Chinese want to keep Alberta oil and gas landlocked is because they don't want Japan and South Korea to have a steady and stable supply of oil and gas coming out of the third largest oil field in the world, right? In terms of why it is that the United States is so supportive of a free and independent Alberta.
I don't know. Do you want me to play more of that or?
Sure.
So we were excited about that. We talked about a West Coast pipeline being one of the things that Alberta would like to see immediately upon independence. And that would be a pipeline going from Alberta through Idaho, or Montana, Idaho, and either Washington or Oregon to the West Coast to supply that Asian market. And the Americans are very supportive of that. So we were talking to the U.S. government about support for our pensioners and converting, Alberta pensions at par from Canadian dollars to U.S. dollars, things like that. We're also talking about doing a feasibility study, which we're going to get working on right away, to establish a $500 billion line of credit for the country.
Just what we need, eh? Just what you want to go into independence with a line of credit with $500 billion to the states?
Country of Alberta, so that immediately upon a successful referendum result, Alberta could trigger a $500 billion line of credit, so that when we negotiate with Ottawa, we'll be negotiating from a position of strength and not from weakness. So,
all right, that's enough of this guy. But part of the point.
Remember, they said for a couple, it would be $5,600 extra a year in their pocket, and for a family of 4, it would be an extra $12,000.
Because of
just in taxes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's right.
So how much for a couple?
$6,500 or $5,600 or something like that.
So is that net, do you think? Or I guess it would be net, right?
Yeah, it'd have to be net because it's taxes coming back to you.
So this is one of these guys I was talking about, Laurentian proletarian, Stephen Maher. If this is true, which is no sure thing, then we should start to think of Alberta as Donbass. So what, you're going to start
the Donbass region of Canada?
Yeah.
Well, come get us, son.
Yeah, come get. Go get him, buddy. Go get him. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
It's I don't know. X is I gotta stay off X a little bit.
You do gotta stay off X. Here's some more Canada stuff from Donald Best, CA.
That's what I had.
Haha, I win, bitch. Now premiering explosive video, Ottawa police prosecutor admits Detective Helen Gruce was charged to shield politicians and officials from police investigations. Bruce is accused of probing 9 unexplained infant deaths for possible links to COVID vaccines. The shocking Dave Freedom 4 video exposes how Ottawa police and prosecutor Jessica Barrow delivered a chilling on-the-record message to Canada's 70,000 police officers. Do not investigate matters with political ramifications without permission. With the trial now over, the stakes couldn't be higher. Hearing officer Chris Renwick's verdict will not just define Gru's fate and his legacy, it will shape the future of policing in Canada.
Whoa. Can you wait a sec?
Wait.
How is that political? I mean, isn't that what?
Well, because we were being mandated COVID shots at the same time as she was saying that the COVID shots might be killing babies.
But what was it? No, I think she was talking about regular shots.
No, I think she was talking about COVID vaccines specifically. We shouldn't even be talking about this right now. But I'm not saying this. I'm just reading what this that's just about the case, you know? Want to listen to the clip?
So, but I mean, again, it just shouldn't be political, right? How is that even political? Even if it was about the COVID jabs, right? It shouldn't be political.
Well, I think the thing is that there would be politicians that would be liable for things. So I don't even know that it matters what party it is. Just if it's gonna fuck with the politicians, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it wasn't like that. I'm just saying it shouldn't have been like that, but that's how it became. Yeah.
After 20 years of dedicated service to the city of Ottawa, police detective Helen Gruss thought she'd seen it all, but nothing could have prepared her for the battle of her life. When 9 infants tragically died, Gruss uncovered chilling evidence suggesting a possible link between the deaths and their mother's vaccination status, specifically the Pfizer vaccines. Her investigation also revealed a troubling oversight. A fellow officer had deviated from established protocol by neglecting to inquire about the vaccine status of the mothers and babies, a standard procedure that had been in place for over 50 years. When Chief Peter Slowly and senior officers deliberately ignored the evidence of infant deaths, Gruss became the target of a backlash from the top down. Ottawa police eventually charged Helen with discreditable conduct to make an example of her and to deter other officers from continuing her investigation. Meanwhile, Gruss was suspended, her reputation dragged through the mud, and her career placed in jeopardy for simply doing the job she was sworn to do. This case is unprecedented. Never in Canadian history has a police officer been charged for conducting a professional investigation, yet that is exactly what happened. Even Ottawa police prosecutor Jessica Barrow acknowledged that Gruss's investigation was halted and charges were brought against her for political reasons. This case will undoubtedly influence the mindset of Canada's 70,000 police officers, prompting them to consider whether certain actions are too political. Now that Detective Gruss's tribunal has concluded, all eyes are on adjudicator Chris Renwick, who holds her fate in his hands. The decision is set for late February, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
I don't think we need the open letter. Do you think? You want the open letter?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's enough regarding that. Like enough info. I don't mean it in a bad way. So did you see that that lady that was on viral about the person dying? Her husband died in the waiting room of a hospital.
I don't know. It's hard to distinguish which ones are which these days because people are dying in the waiting room on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I didn't see a video though. I'd seen something come across my feed someplace.
Okay, here's a video.
By 12:15, 12:20, he was sitting in the triage from 12:20 onward till about, I would say, 8:50 till about 8:50 in the night.
So she's going on about how he was in triage from 12:15 to 8:15 or something like that.
He was sitting in the triage complaining of constant chest pain. His BP constantly kept
complaining of constant chest pain.
Rising with the last recorded blood pressure of 210. He was taken inside. He was only prescribed Tylenol during the entire waiting time that he was outside, and he was not given help. They said that chest pain is not considered acute.
Welcome to Canada, lady.
They do not suspect a cardiac arrest. When he came inside, he was asked to sit down. He got up for a fraction of second and he collapsed. He fainted, and the nurse was heard saying that I do not feel a pulse. So basically, the hospital administration, the employees of Grey Nuns Hospital have basically killed my husband.
So she's basically accusing the hospital and the employees, and that poor doctor just standing there listening to this, and he's on video. Yeah, because now that she can't feel a pulse anymore because the blood pressure is like 210 or something like that.
Prashant Shri Kumar, by not providing him timely medical help. And the security was so rude that instead of addressing the cause, they said, "Ma'am, you are being very rude." So basically, it is okay for them to kill a human being and to tell the wife that you are being rude.
So they're calling her rude. So she's like, so it's okay to kill a human being, but you can't call me rude. So, yep, like you said, welcome to Canada. I mean, it's so funny that, not funny, it's terrible that people are now blaming like Daniel Smith's album. It's all like now against, because this was in Edmonton, right? So it's Daniel Smith thing. So then what this does is it opens up for everybody to go, oh yeah, this is happening in, like you said, in all the other provinces. So people are linking headlines and articles from all over. Let me just see here. Oh, of course, William Mackus going hard against Daniel though, and AHS for sure there. But yeah, people are going on about other healthcare, and of course, people are arguing whether they should blame the triage and all that. Anyways, I guess I can't find any of those. So, oh, here's the wait time. Waiting your turn. Canada healthcare wait times in 2024. So yeah, Alberta's 38.4. Some are up to 69, 77. Huh. Anyways, I don't think I need to go in. He was a 44-year-old father, I think, that died right in the waiting room.
Poor dude. Well, let's jump into this next. This is Sophia Dahl 1 on Twitter. The World Health Organization has recommended around 200 IU of daily vitamin D for 20 years. But a schoolboy error from the Institute of Medicine reveals they should have been getting 895 IU.
I think we recommend 2,000.
Is that what we recommend?
I think so in Canada.
And Clyde was saying 10,000, right? His were 10,000. The ones we were getting from Clyde, whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
44 times more than the WHO recommends. It means in the United States, the recommended amount of vitamin D is 15 times too low. In the United Kingdom, it's 22 times lower than it should be. Probably even more in the UK because it's fucking cloudy all the time. How can governments trust the WHO with managing pandemics if they can't get vitamin D right?
Institutes of Medicine in the United States, now the Academy of Medicine, has made a really quite inexplicable, simple schoolgirl error on the amount of vitamin D that's required. Let me give you the bottom line quickly of this video, and then you can decide if you want to watch. Now, this is from this paper here, a statistical error in the estimation of the recommended dietary allowance of vitamin D. And this paper actually came out in 2014. So they haven't quite got round to correcting this in the time since, which is really quite incredible, 11 years. So what this means is in the United
Imagine the difference I could have made during COVID.
Right?
States, if information we're going to look at is correct.
Why do they say dietary allowance?
In a minute.
What's that?
I don't get that. I thought that was going to be like what you should be supplementing, but it's dietary allowance. I'm not too sure what that means.
I think that means the same thing, but
it means in the United States, the recommended amount of vitamin D is 15 times too low, 15 times lower than it should be. at least 15 times lower than it should be. In the United Kingdom, it's 22 times lower than it should be. What they worked out was you give 600 units a day, and nearly everyone, 97.5% of people, will achieve 63 nanomoles a litre. What is the actual correct calculation? 600 units a day, 97.5% of the population will actually achieve 26.8. So not the 63 that they hoped for, but rather 26.8, which is 10.7 nanograms per mole, which is well in the deficient range. So they thought they were getting that. They're actually getting that because of this simplistic error. Anyway, it turns out that the amount you would actually need to give 97.5% of the population 63 nanomoles per litre is not 600, not 400, but 8,895 international units of vitamin D may be needed to accomplish the 97.5% of individuals to achieve serum 25OH vitamin D. That's the levels of vitamin D in the blood of more than 50 nanomoles per litre. That's what this video is about. Preposterously simple mistake, but with massive implications.
So maybe the idiocracy goes back further than we thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could also just fit more into this non-replicatable data thing, you know? It's all bullshit. It's all total bullshit. So I got one more health clip I'll jump into, and I'll turn it over to you for a minute. I got a couple Russia clips after that. HealthBot, the HealthBot on Twitter. We know now from scientific peer-reviewed studies that bees are testing with 70 times more aluminum in their bodies. We've tested the rainwater. This video about weather modification will hit you hard.
What do we have now? We now know with peer-reviewed study that bees are testing with 70 times more aluminum in their system than what it takes to cause Alzheimer's or dementia in a human being. It's a wonder any of them are alive. 70 times more. And this is important as well. When you have somebody from some agency who's paid to lie, who tells you it's normal to have aluminum everywhere because it's a very abundant element. That is a lie of inaccuracy. Aluminum is very abundant in the environment, yes, but it does not exist in the environment in free form. It doesn't exist in free form. It must be mined and refined and sprayed for it to be scattered everywhere in the environment, and that's exactly what's happening. It's not just the bees that are dying. Every single one of us is being contaminated. These materials are bioavailable. They're building up in our systems, and it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter. It's a fact. We have the lab test to prove it. There will be no hiding this issue much longer. And what does it appear? The chemical signature for what's showing up in rain tests matches coal fly ash, a substance that the EPA has told us is not harmful. They've been trying desperately to get rid of, and it seems to suit the purposes for geoengineering, and evidence is increasingly indicating that toxic coal fly ash may be one of the base materials they're using to spray because it gives them plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. It's always good. Do you want to take a turn? I got two more short clips that are both about Russia and the Ukraine.
Well, okay, because I mean we're already like at 45 minutes here. So I have something about the two-tier justice in Canada, but I have a TD Leaker thing about a federally regulated Canadian financial services company, like a blog about that I was going to read. Yeah, I don't want to play the Dr. Death thing. I have the thing about what's his name? Dr. Gabor Mate. They're calling him Dr. Death. There's a big push against him right now. And then I got some esoteric stuff, some UFO stuff. So do you want to transition right over to that, or should I do some more of the Canadian stuff? Or?
No more Canadian stuff.
Okay. Okay, how about some fun stuff then? Can you hear this if I play it?
What?
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
I can't hear that.
No? Okay. So disclosure is here. Okay. This is gonna be fun here. Ready? This is Trump on disclosure.
Just got off the phone with the aliens, and they really like me. I have a great relationship with them, but I wish I didn't FaceTime with them because they're really nasty looking, and I made some unpleasant jokes, but I think they like me. We have a deal like you wouldn't believe that's about to happen. I found out they have oil like you wouldn't believe. They don't even touch it. They told me, you're crazy for using oil. I said, you're crazy for not using oil. What's wrong with these aliens? You know, you think aliens would be smarter than us, but apparently they're not, because all they wanted for the oil, think of this, all they wanted for the oil is Marco Rubio. I guess he has some kind of special lineage. They really want Marco Rubio. They love him. And I thought, that's fantastic. Look, Marco's not going to be happy about it, but one person for trillions and trillions of barrels of oil, you have to do it. So Marco's not going to be too happy about it, but he's probably already on his way. I made the phone call. Just got off the phone.
That's pretty good, eh? I mean, it's pretty good. He's got to do. You got to do it. You got to do it. One person for all that oil. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's a post by Brian Romali there.
All right, I'll finish up with this. Former CIA analyst Larry Johnson says it's not just Zelensky taking the money. EU leaders like Callas, von der Leyen, Boris Johnson, and 29 U.S. Congress members, including Lindsey Graham, have almost certainly received money.
What we're looking at here, the nature of this corruption, is that it's not just Zelensky taking money, squirreling it away, and buying real estate and vineyards and expensive cars overseas. You know, you can get a lot of that for $1 billion. This also involves paying off people all up and down, let's call it the chain of command.
Yeah.
So in the European Union, I'll guarantee you that senior leaders in the European Union, people like Kaja Kallas and von der Leyen, have almost certainly received money. I do know for a fact that there are 29 members of the U.S. Congress, both House of Representatives and the Senate, that have received multiple millions of dollars. One Republican senator, I'm told, has received 19 million. His Democrat counterpart has received upwards of $26 million.
You're talking huge money, Larry. But I mean, are you referring to U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham? Because you spoke about him recently profiting from the conflict in Ukraine, right?
That's what I've been told, that Lindsey Graham has received money and has, and that he's been substantial amounts of money. Now, do I have proof of that? No, I don't. But the people that told me this, I have confidence that they weren't making it up. They were not part of an anti-Lindsey Graham scene. But it's not just Lindsey. I mean, and I think maybe the best way to look at this is figure out the ones who are the biggest proponents and advocates for continuing a war that's resulting in the loss of life of more than 1 million Ukrainian men, and the devastation of their country because of the NATO pushing them. You have to step back and say, like Boris Johnson, there's clear evidence that he's received money from a friend who's doing business in Ukraine. But the corruption goes beyond that. We just learned recently that former CIA director Mike Pompeo, he's getting a $600,000 a year seat on a board plus a $13 million stock package. So this is why people, at least I think in America, love war so much. They make so much money off of it.
They make so much money off it.
They don't pay a price.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Which one do you know? You just get that second half?
No. That's what?
Should we get to the second half?
No, not yet. I got some stuff for the first half still, some esoteric fun stuff. So this is Trevor Grassi. This is the guy that one of our guests, it'll be coming out tomorrow. Frank Rogala talked about this. It's funny because I had this saved up and Frank kept mentioning this guy's name. But this is what Frank was talking about as well. The Templar and the Templar archives. Now that it's released, I can say thanks to Timothy Hogan as the source of these images from the Templar archives. So that bring validation to the books of Harvey Spencer Lewis and H.C. Randall Stevens over 90 years ago. The source map has been revealed, and its original creator was likely exploring these tunnels with Salim Hassan himself back in 1932. You can see the whole story here. So I've got a link to the X thing, the X post, but there's a link to YouTube as well. But this is showing the underground passages in Hawana, but maybe that's Hawara. Now, I'm not sure, but there's the Sphinx, the Thutmose tablet against the breast there, and then the shafts underneath, the circular temple. Like he's got this whole diagram, the symbolic gate, the present steps. What do you think? Interesting how this is all coming out. A 7-sided room there's the tunnel to the pyramid, Campbell's tomb, probably light wells to the passages. Interesting. The hidden door, the secret door. I mean, no wonder why we love dungeons so much, eh? This is like right out of a D&D module. And then there's a plan view of it. Looks like underground passages from the Sphinx to the pyramids.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's the causeway leading to the Nile boat landing. The so-called temple of the Sphinx over there.
Yeah, we went down there.
Yeah. Pretty cool, eh? And then I thought you'd like this one, since you're talking about the moon so much. I want you to hear what this guy has to say.
But the one thing that I really wanted to talk about was the moon base. And, you know, I've heard from whistleblowers, U.S. Air Force whistleblowers who've been transported to the moon base. And I don't know. I know you can tell me. I think there are multiple moon bases from what I understand.
Yeah, there is multiple moon bases. There is an arc on the moon as well.
Underground.
Darren, did you catch that?
Underground.
Like an Ark of the Covenant or like
no, like there's an ark. Like ark as in like Noah's Ark, I think. That's the way I took it, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's Ark of a Covenant. I don't know.
I think it is visible.
It is visible.
Yeah, I think
is it on the dark side?
It is in between. I think.
Do we know where on the moon?
We do know where. And I think
maybe you could, do you have any idea specifically? Like if I'm looking at the moon, because a lot of amateur astronomers are going to want to dial this in.
No, I do not know the exact location. Well, I can't give out the exact location.
Okay.
There's a lot of different countries involved. I know that. I know that there's another, I don't know if this is the first time people hearing this, but there's other people living in the moon that look Indian looking. And they got
like you? Dot or feather, I wonder.
Well, the old Egyptians, bro.
These egg-shaped crafts, and they're connected to ancient India. I could tell you that. And they're living in the moon, and they visit Earth now and then. And I think we have captured probably these egg-shaped crafts before. And I talked about it way before me interacting with a guy. His name is Lovint. And sometimes he picked me up in this egg-shaped craft as well.
And you believe he was an ET?
I believe he's a MT.
An MT. a moon terrestrial.
Yeah.
Right, a moon terrestrial. Wow. And he looks Indian.
They look Indian.
Yeah.
They look Indian
so he would pick you up in this egg-shaped craft.
So it goes on. It says it, he picks him up once in the egg-shaped craft. What do you think?
I think that guy's full of shit.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, some interesting stuff though, right?
It is interesting stuff.
What about, because it just fits with a lot of the stuff you and Randall were talking about. Have you seen this guy fitting these little mini, he's got a little mini Inca wall happening, and the cuts were certainly made with special saws. So he's got these special saws, and these rocks are very small, but check out this guy's little version of the Inca walls. What do you think? How they're all going together like those, fit puzzle pieces.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But I mean, it's really hard to. Like you could. Sure, if you could spend, as much time as you need to. If you got little ones with a special saw to get sort of measurements in place. But I'd love to see the process. But they don't show the process. They just show this little tiny wall here, like that. Interesting, eh?
Interesting stuff.
Leaves you wanting more for sure.
All
right, I'll save the rest of my UFO-y stuff because I have
Somebody make me an Incan wall up my driveway.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that. How much that would cost.
That'd be pretty cool. GrandAmericaOutlawed.ca, guys, sign up for Plus. Let's get 10 people to sign up this week. That'd be cool. Wow, that'd be like the best month ever. GrandAmericaOutlawed.ca, sign up today. $6 a month. Get the whole second half of the show and every other show we do. GrandAmerica.ca for other podcasts. Contact at thecabin.com for trips and events. AdultBrain.ca for audiobooks, ebooks, print books, other books, publisher book, all that kind of fun stuff. And GrandAmericaCBD.com for gummies and tinctures. Other than that, we love you guys. Happy New Year. Thanks for listening. And we will see you. Oh, I guess I can't do that. Well, you just start off the second half of the show. I almost ended it. There's a problem with doing too many podcasts.
Oh boy, well, where do I want to go with it? I had a whole bunch of stuff saved from the other one. All right, so let's I don't want to start with that guy. Okay, let's start with fraud. I'm going to get into a lot of fraud here. Kind of like the stuff you were talking about, but
so these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in